NATO take to Libya? Look at what you did to
Listening
Libya
Julius Malema
to date.
of EFF.
Because you're going after one man, you destroy the whole country. So if it brought peace in Norway, it has not brought peace in Africa. And our experience with NATO is not what you have experienced. And therefore, we respectfully disagree with that. This thing of territorial threats, we know them here. We've got an army base here in Botswana. What is America doing here in Botswana? Why is Africa not in American borders? What do you call that? And you come and say imperialism and colonialism is finished. When people expand their territorial expansion through putting military bases at our borders. There's a military base here. A study has been conducted that a fighter jet that moves from that army base to the Union building will not take less than 2 minutes to bomb the Union building. If a war is declared with America, America does not have to assemble any resource from Washington or anywhere else to come here. They are already here. What do you call that? It's democracy. It's free world. We must celebrate that and say, no, imperialism is no longer there. It's in our head. We understand what Putin is fighting against because we have it here. Here. What is it doing here? We never went to Asia. We never went to Europe. We never went to America. We are here. We don't establish bases anywhere. Why should you establish bases in military bases in our continent? And when we speak, it's called old-fashioned politics. That they are out of fashion. There's no such a thing as imperialism. When imperialism is breathing on our neck, yeah, we're not going to allow that. We are going to expose that American military base here all the time in the platforms we get and educate our people that this is exactly what Putin is fighting against. America will not allow that. That Russia must go and establish a military base in Cuba with missiles facing the USA. Don't want to allow that. So we must not be allowed, we must not be asked to accept the things that you will not accept.
That is
if they were to happen in your countries. And
as an African person, I want to ask you this simple question. What is military base of America, Britain, Germany, France, and the rest of the West? What are they doing in Africa? And why there is no single African country that has military base outside the African continent? Do you know why? Because having military base is like equipping people in case of war, because military is for war. If something fall out between you and that very country, they don't need to go or to come from their country to attack you. They will start attacking you from that very military base. And that is the main cause of the war between Ukraine and Russia today. Because Ukraine want to enter NATO. And the NATO, once Ukraine enter NATO, that will give the American right to have a military base in Ukraine, making it more easier to attack America. To attack Russia. And that is the reason why Russia invaded Ukraine, to put a stop on that. Now, come to Africa. Ask yourself, the military bases of these foreign countries, the West and America, doing all in Africans, why are they not stopping the terrorists that is terrorizing the entire Africa? Those terrorists will pass all this military base, yet they will not stop them. Do you know what? The West and the American are the ones sponsoring and equipping these terrorists in order to terrorize Africa. And the more they are causing destruction, the more this West and the America are stealing our natural resources. They always love to put problem. That is why America, you are seeing here, is #1 enemy of Africa. as a continent, not just one country. America don't mean well for any African country. An example of it is go to Congo or Uganda. You will understand how evil America is. Now, I want to ask you, do you see that since Captain Ibrahim Traoré take over power and send out the French military base, and the Niger and the rest did that, do you see that the rate which the terrorists was operating in Burkina Faso reduced until the French start now recruiting them to wreak mayhem in Burkina again? That is to tell you that every terrorist you see today operating in Africa are being sponsored by the West and America. And any day Africa realize this, and we realize that we have what it takes to run the affairs of Africa by ourselves, it's better for us. America and the West are the terrorists that is terrorizing Africa. Quote me anywhere and I will prove it to you. I don't want to say much, but if other African countries will emulate Captain Ibrahim Traoré and that of Niger Republic and Mali and rise up at this particular time, it will reduce and send a very significant and very strong warning to the West and America. They will not have the capacity to invade Africa. But when you all relax and fall back without rising up, they can easily gang up and re-strategize and overpower one person that is fighting them. But when the rest rise up and join the fight, they cannot do that because we have come to unite and we have more force than them. Remember, there is an international law. They don't have the right to invade Africa like as they did in the 90s, in the 18th century and the 17th century and in the 1901. The same way. They cannot do it this time because there is already existing law which gives you the right. Use the advantage of the so-called theory independence that they give to you to chase them out. If we can do this, it will help us a lot. I don't want to say much, but I must tell Africans, Julius Malema have said it all. And the earlier we realize that the West are our number one enemy, they have turned all our leaders into their puppet. I can tell you that they have already captured them and turned them into their slave. And the only people that can rise up and fight for those our puppet leaders are the masses. When the masses rise up and make a demand and they draw their own line on how their country will be, and they force the leaders we put there to do our own building, our own will, not the puppet. If the leader refuses to adhere to our demand, we will forcefully take him out. How many will the person slaughter? When we unite, we can chase any person, any puppet leader out, and put somebody who will be afraid of the citizen, not the foreigners. And by doing that, we will send a signal and a strong message to the West and America. Our time to rise up is now. We don't have that much time to waste or to delay. Let us rise now and fight this fight once and for all. I don't want to say much. I remain my humble self, MAD Ezoku Bondo 1. And stay tuned for more videos. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Biafra Unity, or Mazi Achirepo TV, so that you will get our notification anytime we drop a new update. And don't forget to click the notification button for your update. Thank you and remain blessed.